Hi, everybody. What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are finding this message. I am Gina Ifowe, the one and only African superstar, back at it again. Um, I want to say a special shout outs to Ajike, who has come into town for our Welcome to Ghana tour. Big shout outs to her. We received her on Sunday and we started with some of the touring yesterday, and I'll be going out shortly to connect with them, Mr. Taye Uhuru and Ajike this morning to continue our tour in Accra. I want to talk about this. So also big shout outs, so many shout outs to Web Nation Africa and Captain Hayford, the host. I recently had an episode on Web Nation, which is on the community tab if you guys are interested in checking that out. And this analogy, I created this analogy on the show, and it talks about the difference between a fish who has lived in the aquarium and that's all they know, and a fish that has come from the sea. And I think a lot of our people get caught up with the detractors of what we are doing, the criticism, the misinformation, especially here on social media. I have seen people who, for instance, have never come to the continent, never even left their state, don't even own passports, talking about Africa, talking about the world, talking about what is and there, what is there, what isn't there, what's happening, and all of these things. And I just want to promote my audience in true SMP fashion, which SMP is the mission statement of this channel. It stands for strategy, maturity, and patience. I just want to promote you guys to not get caught up in that. And if you know logically where a person is coming from, like say for instance, if you are having a conversation with a child, you're having a conversation with a 5-year-old child, and they are coming with their limited perspective. You will communicate with them based on the fact that that is a 5-year-old child, and you know that that child doesn't know all the things you know, and I mean, you would not try to talk to them about complex things and so on and so forth. We need to look at the bigger picture of what's going on social media as that same dichotomy. So when I was on Web Nation, I gave this illustration. Say for instance, you grew up in an aquarium, okay? You know, as a little bitty fish, if you know anything about fish, you can go to the fish shop or the pet store and you can just get like a little bag of goldfish, for instance. So let's say that's how you came to be. They went to pick you up from the pet store, brought you, put you in your aquarium. They have some little, decorative stuff in there. They shake your fish food in every day. And that's the life you live. And all of a sudden, there's another fish that gets brought into your aquarium. And this fish is from the ocean. Okay. Now, when you compare the two, the fish from the ocean can swim. They have a limited range of swimming. They've seen loads of other fish. They've seen other marine life. They've had freedom and so on and so forth. So this fish is trying to tell the fish that's in the aquarium, hey, man, there's more to life than this. You're missing out. What kind of life is this? You're just confined to this little bitty aquarium and, you can't see or experience much here. That's the illustration that goes with this video. And that is why I think for me, I don't get so irate. I don't get so emotional about a lot of the misinformation about Africa. Some of the vitriol that comes in the comments and viewers and things like that is because I recognize they're from the aquarium. I recognize that their experience and exposure is small. I recognize that they haven't experienced what I've experienced, so they can't even speak from a point of reference. It's not as if they're saying, hey, I know you have traveled the world and so have I, and this is how I see Africa. This is how it is. Most people that are world travelers or most people that are African travelers are, kind of echoing my sentiments about how the continent is and how it has impacted them and how it has opened their horizons and all of that. I personally believe that we are spending way too much energy going back and forth with erroneous people and erroneous topics. There's no reason that I need to sit and debate my life in Africa with someone who has never been to Africa. Because it's just like a totally bogus conversation. How can you rightfully debate a person who lives in the country, who has frequented not only this country, but other countries in Africa? You are debating me from not a place of experience, but from narratives that you think that you know. The reality is there are some members of the diaspora that don't want any connection to the continent. They don't want avenues to be successful here, which means they're going to hang on to very negative correlations as their justification for what's going on. I talked briefly the other day about the situation in Gambia, which obviously is going viral and so on and so forth. There have been a handful of women who have died under mysterious pretenses and all of that. The most recent one was a blatant murder, and they've already kind of apprehended her killer, and that killer is not a Gambian, from what I understand. There have been videos from other ladies living in the Gambia, other people living in the Gambia, other diasporans living in the Gambia saying the way that this story is being spun is not accurate. It's not how it is. These incidents are not connected. They're not linked. But nonetheless, we talk about the fact that there's been 6 deaths within a span of maybe a year or so, maybe a year or more, a year or less. I can't know. When we match that up against the violence that Blacks in the diaspora are accustomed to, it's not even a drop in the bucket. Yet there will be people that say, oh my gosh, look at this situation happening in the Gambia. I can never come to Africa. It's the aquarium versus the ocean. Okay, the ocean, the fish that swim in the ocean, they can't even have a logical conversation with the fish from the aquarium. The fish from the aquarium has not even experienced a fraction. Now, the fish from the aquarium consequently may have an idea about the ocean. You see, what is happening to many diasporians that live in these Western settings is obviously they have been brainwashed to be afraid of the outside world, basically the ocean. Okay, they're living in this little aquarium. They think that's how life should be, and they're scared to try anything else. They want to, they discourage going to the ocean because there's danger in the ocean. There's sharks in the ocean. You can get there's fishermen in the ocean. You can get, caught on a fishing rod and taken out of the sea. And they're going to focus on all of those things that could potentially happen in the sea and let those things derail them from potentially ever going to the ocean. Now, I can reckon as a fish, as I'm using this example, I can reckon that a fish in the sea, a fish in a river, a fish in a lake has so much more freedom than a fish in the aquarium. And even though there are potential dangers in the ocean, living in that aquarium is just such a small portion of your life that ideally, if you were in an aquarium, you would want to eventually get to the sea and see what it's like. In this context, diasporians should want to see the world. Even if it's beyond Africa, they should want to see it. They should want to check it out. Because some of the things that's going on in America are not necessarily appetizing. This racial thing is crazy. The chemically modified foods is crazy. The police brutality is crazy. The mass shootings is crazy. Just the mental well-being of Americans, like where they are. Some of them are frustrated. Some of them are depressed. Some of them are violent. Some of them are just at their wits' end. And it's spreading to, it's becoming quite a substantial amount of the population. You know, I bet if you were to survey, 10 Americans and ask them, what do they think about the country? What do they think about the direction of the country? What do they think about the leadership? Or, these kind of things. I'm pretty sure that the majority of those people would say they don't feel great or confident about the direction of the country, or they feel that it has changed. There's lots of, editorials and videos about Americans leaving the country, Americans' dissatisfaction, problems in the nation, homelessness, and there's a drug epidemic happening in America. Fentanyl, fentanyl is a very powerful drug that can be fatal if it's mixed incorrectly or too much components or whatever. And there's loads of people that have been affected by fentanyl, and it's not being publicized, but people in the country are aware of it because, again, it's an epidemic. I want to encourage some of you that are in the aquarium and you might be a little nervous to swim in the ocean. Go to the ocean. Check it out. If by chance you get to the ocean and you're just like, you know what, this is overwhelming. This is overwhelming. I probably should stick to my aquarium. You're always welcome to go back. Those of us that, we host citizenships abroad and all of that, you have access to visit the country, see family, go for shopping, maybe periodically work, but maybe it's not the full-time situation for you, and it's nice to just be able to have that option of checking out other things. Black people need to stop being so scared to live life in the enjoyment. We have been groomed to believe in the struggle constantly. The perpetual struggle, that life is difficult, everything is hard, that's how it has to be. That is how we are groomed to think. And in reality, there's a lot of amazing things to partake, and we deserve enjoyment. We deserve reprieve. We deserve upward mobility and generational wealth. We deserve freedom. After all, is that not what our ancestors, some of our ancestors, have promoted? Is that we experience freedom? And one thing is consistent about those people that promote freedom. They always highlight and include Africa in the freedom of the diaspora. It's necessary because it is our root. Even if you want to believe that you are coming from other places or you've been raised in different environments, as for me, I was born and raised in America. Okay. But I recognize that just because I'm in America doesn't mean that this is where my roots come from. It's not. My family is from abroad. So, you can try to claim all these locations in between. But at the end of the day, when you get back down to the root of it all, that originates here from this continent, So I want to thank everybody for your support, continued support on this platform. I want to welcome new viewers. Big shout out, Shoshana. Thank you so much, sweetie, for being here today. Thank you also recently for your gift. Shoshana sent me some money the other day. So much love to Shoshana for supporting the platform. By the way, the platform is demonetized. I forgot to add that. So if you do want to support, you can support right here. Scrolling across the screen are the ways and avenues. Also, we have another tour coming up in October. I have posted that on the community tab. I'm currently on a tour right now. So that is commencing on the 7th. Yes. So we toured a bit in Accra yesterday. We'll tour some more today. Tomorrow we're off to Kumasi. And then on, I believe, Friday or Saturday, we're heading to Cape Coast. So yeah, we're about to give Ajike a nice glimpse of Ghana. And she's having a nice time here. So far, so good. We had our traditional photo shoot yesterday. And tonight is my official Welcome to Ghana concert. If you are in Accra, you're more than welcome to join us. 8 p.m. Waves Lounge. Be there or B squared. But at the end of the day, the moral of this conversation is, if you are an ocean fish, okay, you are a world traveler, you're a big perspective person, do not get caught up, derailed, or discouraged by that aquarium fish. Okay, they're operating on their limited knowledge and their limited exposure, and it's not their fault. It's not for you to look down at them and be like, oh my God, these people are so stupid. They don't see, they don't understand. In some cases, they are going along with the lines of how we are all supposed to think and be groomed. Our education, our media, our music, all these things are designed in a way to shape our minds to believe and participate in certain things. A lot of people have just become susceptible. Some people will break out. Some people are open-minded. Some people are critical thinkers, and they're going to ask questions and they're going to connect the dots. The vast majority of them are not. So they're going to be as they are. But if you are an ocean fish, you should not be affected by this small thinking. Actually, if you're a real leader, you anticipate it. You know that when you come out and say things that are avant-garde or controversial or unfamiliar to these people, they're going to clap back, because in reality, nobody likes to feel ignorant. Nobody likes to feel like they don't know what's going on. And nobody likes to feel like, they've been blindsided. People want to feel like, no, I know what I'm talking about. No, I know this and that. They're going to clap back when you introduce new theories to them, new ideas, or new facts and proof. But if you are that ocean fish, okay, then you have exposure. You've had freedom. You've had this and that and blah, blah, blah. You should act like it. You should behave like it. Okay? You should not give up the good fight because of the clapback and the backlash and the haters and all that. You should still be able to carry on, as I have done consistently for years. I'm creating my legacy, so I don't have time to worry about the people that are still in the aquarium. All I can provide them is advices and an example, and the rest is up to them. If that aquarium fish doesn't look at the ocean fish and desire the same, then that's something on that aquarium fish. At least at minimum, just wanting to know what it's like, to go to the ocean. I mean, even as an adult, even as a human, the ocean is absolutely fascinating. So as a fish, to be able to swim, explore, and all those things, I mean, not that I don't know that they have our type of logic and those things, but freedom is very, very exhilarating, no matter who you are. And for me, that's what Africa's like, the ocean for me. There's just so many possibilities. There's so much variety. There's so much to see. And it's like, oh, thank God. It's such a breath of fresh air compared to the West. Although there are problems here, I mitigate those problems compared to the problems that I experience in the West. You know what I mean? And to me, it's like, okay, yeah, I got to deal with this and this and this and this, but I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to deal with that. Or it's a better situation than this and that, And this is also the grounds for futuristic people, because you can start building, start planning, start, creating your long-term plan here and watch it come to fruition. So big shout outs to you guys that are there. I'm not going to be here long because I'm on the tour. So I need to get ready to connect with Mr. Taye Uhuru. If you guys are interested in our next tour, like I said, it will begin on the 21st of October. So you can book for that and inquire for that at tayeahuru.com. Okay, so that's www.tayeahuru.com. Let's see here. I think I put it in. There we go. So our next tour, October, I think that's about 6 months from now or so. So you have time to, get your deposit in, secure your spot, because, it goes down. We had our traditional photo shoot yesterday. If you come on the tour, you get a complimentary kente cloth and traditional slippers. So I presented that to a GK at the airport, and we all wore our kente cloth yesterday at Black Star Square. Yes. So if that's something you're interested in, that's another perk of being on our tour. So head on over to taya@hulu.com and get your spot today. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.